Good early morning, everyone. It's raining out, and it's a light rain, but I didn't expect to be driving my Corvette in the rain ever. So this will be a good little video here on how my Corvette with Michelin Pilot Super Sports drives in the rain. So let's hop in here. We'll get into some light and see how this bad boy does. So as you can see, it's not raining super hard, but I need to figure out how to actually use the wiper stalk on here. So it's just kind of a light sprinkle. I think as I get closer to work here, it'll get a little bit more wet out. But like I said, I thought I would be getting to work before this rain, so I didn't necessarily need to deal with it here. So we're just going to be driving into work. Sorry, I'm just trying to get all of my seat and everything situated. So I don't really mind driving my vehicles in the rain. I don't try to. I mean, I'm going to be honest, I never try to on purpose drive any of my sports cars in the rain, but if I have to, it's not the end of the world. I think before I've driven, well, my Jeep SRT, I've driven that a ton in the rain, but I've never driven a C6 Corvette in the rain. I've only got 1,000 miles on this C6 since I bought it, so I think I'm up to about 43,000 miles now on this vehicle. So I guess moral of the story is treat this car with a lot of, I guess, low revs and a lot of, well, shoot, a lot of respect. That's, I guess, at the end of the day, that's how you need to treat this vehicle as, especially with these wet roads. So again, it's not raining super hard here. My vehicle did need a wash just to get some of the brake dust off and some of the bugs off the front, because I've actually been driving this now. I think this is my fifth day in a row where I've driven this car. I'll be honest with you, this C6 Corvette is so fun to drive, and for the price of the vehicle, I paid 20 grand for this. I've got 3,000 in it now with the harmonic balancer repairs that needed to be done, but I've got 23 grand into this car. To get a similar C7, even a 2014, you're looking at basically double the price with this low of miles on it. So I'm pretty happy with the C6 so far. And I'll be honest with you guys, I've driven C7s before. Yes, they are definitely nicer vehicles, especially on the inside, but for the driving experience, it's not worth double the amount of the C6. So actually what I'm going to do here is take the back way into work, which I'm not a huge fan of taking, but there's not as many people on the road, so that allows me to go a little bit slower here, and kind of enjoy the road a little bit. The only thing is, though, there's a little bit more junk on the road, which that's one thing I do have to say. These Pilot Super Sports are so sticky that they pick everything up on the road and they toss it all over the place onto the car, which really sucks. I'm not a big fan of that, but I guess you're going to run into that here in northern Wisconsin where the roads aren't great. There's always a bunch of crap on the roads. So no matter what Corvette I have, I'm going to run into that issue. And these are pretty much stock rims. I believe the stock is either 245 or 255 up front, and then I'm dealing with a little bit larger than stock size on the rear. It's 295 on the rear instead of, I believe, stock is like 285. So a little bit longer or wider there. But overall, again, like I said, it's not rain. It's just a light sprinkle right now, so everything is going pretty well. You know, I see a lot of, I was just actually reading on one of the forums on Facebook here the other day about how this gentleman bought a Grand Sport and, you know, was wondering what whether to store it inside in a heated shop or non-heated shop, and I don't know. I think he lived in Indiana or Pennsylvania, somewhere in a snowier state. So anyway, kind of like where I live, honestly. Well, I live in northern Wisconsin, so we even have more snow up here. But some people were telling him to drive it, but here's the problem. You can't drive a Corvette in the wintertime unless you can't drive a Corvette in the wintertime, guys. There's just A, it's too dangerous. B, there could be snow on the road, so these cars are so low. If you have any sort of snow on the road, you're screwed. C, if you come up to any stop sign, there's usually a slight incline that you have to get onto the county road or the highway or whatever. So you're just sitting and spinning, even with snow tires. So there's just no way you can drive these things year round in a Midwestern state. There really isn't, unless you live in the city where the roads are always clear. Then you probably could, but you can't drive these around in 12 seasons or 12 months in 4 seasons. There's just no way. I don't know where these people are getting that idea from. Even the new E-Ray, just with the ground clearance, that could not be your daily driver. You have to have a truck or an SUV as your primary vehicle. And there you can hear it again, just how bad the roads are here. Not super happy about it. Not super happy. The roads actually look a little bit drier here as we go to work. One thing I'm getting used to with the Corvette is this LS sound. Yes, the exhaust on here is like 20 years old. It needs to be replaced eventually, and maybe I will do that, maybe I won't, I don't know. But I've gotten used to it. I do have to say this vehicle sounds a lot better when the Lexan roof is off. When this is off, you don't get the hollowness sound of the cabin. And that's one thing, because it's just one big cabin, one big hatch. You deal with a lot of echoey sound from the exhaust, a lot of reverberation from the exhaust here. So you're dealing with essentially echoes all the time when it comes to this exhaust. So sometimes it can get a little droney, a little loud, but that's okay with me. I don't mind it. At the end of the day, this is a Corvette. And honestly, guys, comparing this to a C7, this is kind of the last generation where you get some of that raw muscle car feel, that raw muscle car characteristic, in my necessarily like that drone, but there we go. A little bit of drone at like 1750 RPMs. The more and more I've driven this car, the more and more I've come to love heel towing in here. It's a little bit easier to do than my Challenger, because you know the Challenger isn't meant for precision driving like this is. There we go. We have some more crap on the road. Oh yeah, this breaks the tires out, no problem. Second gear at 30, we're sitting at about 2250 RPMs. Oh yeah. Well, it holds traction. Traction assist did have to come into play there, but yeah, it's not terrible. Woo! Braking is still really good. I feel like I'm in control here, and that's thanks to the Michelin Pilot Super Sport tires. I think when I have to get new tires on this, I'm probably going to spend the money and stick with Michelin's and probably get PS5s. I love the Michelin tire. It's just that good. It's so good. Any PS4 or PS5 or even these Super Sports here, they do so good at grip in cold and in rain, and for a summer high performance tire, you really feel like you are in control of your vehicle at most every time, which is awesome. And I do have to say the Corvette does actually, even for being an 05 and a C6, the Corvette does have a good active handling system here. I've just got all the nannies on right now, and I always feel like it does a good job at reining me in, even at full throttle. It keeps me in control, and it keeps the car straight. That's the most important thing. It keeps the car straight and on the road, and that's essentially what you want when you have your vehicle, especially in inclement weather like what we're dealing with right now. But this is giving me a great excuse to try to hopefully find some time today and wash my this Chevy, actually, and how good it is in inclement weather. I'm actually really impressed. I did not think I'd be able to have this much control on the road with inclement weather. What a fun car to drive, and I can see why, you know, people think you can drive these all season, but you can't. You just can't. The usability here with how low they are to the ground doesn't work, essentially. But, you know, kudos to Chevy for coming up with an E-rate to at least give people the idea of driving these all season if you really wanted to, but just essentially giving you more grip and more traction in these kind of shoulder seasons, which we're coming up to right now. Very impressive. Very impressive. Yeah, honestly, if I had the money, guys, I would just go out and buy an E-Ray, and I'd probably drive that March, weather dependent, all the way from March all the way through November, weather dependent, because these Corvettes are just so fun to drive. Or I'd probably, if I really had the money, I'd go out and buy like a beater C6 and just drive that all season, or try to, except December, January, February, when there's a ton of snow. But very impressive, I have to say. This Chevy has blown me away in the last few vehicles I've owned, with the Chevy Bolt, now with the C6 Corvette, and with the Pontiac Solstice GXP. Again, cheap interior materials. You've come to know that with GM, but man, the driving dynamics, even with the Chevy Bolt, the driving dynamics are just fantastic. I'm blown away here at what GM has been able to do over the last 20 to 25 years with their sports cars and with their normal cars, and what they've been able to do to make a driving experience fun, which so many cars are lacking now. They're lacking that fun aspect of driving, and Chevy continues to do that, and Chevy allows you, because the Corvette is the everyman's sports car, it allows you to drive these vehicles in the wet, in the cold, and really enjoy them, and that's why this guy's gonna pass me.